All right. Well, welcome everyone. My name is Mike DiMuccio. I'm your host. I'm a Nikken Royal Diamond. I've been associated with Nikken as of a day or two ago now, 28 years. So if you're out there wondering, is Nikken a business that you can rely on, maybe build a future with, have a career even? The people that we're going to be hearing from today are in fact people who've done just that. So they've got incredible stories, diverse backgrounds, and you'll learn a little bit more about what makes Nikken unique and special for each and every one of us, and then you'll see what's common. If you're in the process right now of evaluating Nikken, we hope that this call may be that trigger that allows you to see that you're safe here. This is welcome territory. We've got nothing but positive things ahead of us, a wonderful future ahead of us. We're so looking forward to 2020, and we'd love to have you join us. So I'm going to go ahead and turn our attention to our first guest speaker, Igor Gruendl, who's coming to us from Sarasota, Florida. Igor has been with Nikken as of May will be 25 years. So why don't you tell us your story, Igor? Take it away.
Okay, well, it starts in Germany where I come from, and when you look at it, things that you think about in life, what are you going to be one day? Well, one of my things early on was that I really wanted to be in the healthcare field. I always was drawn to it. Now, I didn't get there for a couple of reasons. My parents had retail stores. They expanded to 10 stores. I thought I'm going to take them over one day, but I found out very quickly I'm not very good in picking out clothes that are going to be in trend in a year from now. I wasn't really good at that. So I thought I may try some other areas out in the textile business. So I was in wholesales, I was in commissioner sales, I had my own t-shirt collection, and then I had a burnout. So the burnout got me actually to the United States, where I then said, I will now do what I've always wanted to do. And that was get into the healthcare field. So the easiest thing was to become a massage therapist. It only took a year. And so I started, and then I continued my studies. I became a physical therapist, worked for an orthopedic surgeon, and through that, I came to Nikken. One day, I actually was approached by a patient who then introduced me to Nikken. I came to one of the, reluctantly, I have to say, to one of the presentations. I signed up because I said, if I can get something at a wholesale price, I'll do that. And I told them, please don't ever call me, because I know exactly how this works. And so after we used the products, my wife had a life-changing experience. She had a horseback accident 45 years ago, that where her pelvis was not doing very well. So she was constantly in therapy. Now, after 6 weeks on the products, we noticed that she was doing really good. And then I didn't really put one and one together until I said, wait a minute, what did we do different? Because she didn't show up for the therapy, her regular therapy. And I went back and said, oh, we started with those Nikken products. So now I got really interested. And I then, of course, what does a good therapist husband do? Takes everything away to see, well, does it have to do anything with it? So she got, worse. After we took it away, put it back on, got better, took it away, got worse again, back on. And I said, okay, I don't care how this works. Then I started using it on some of my patients. They got better. Then I got a call into the office. The doctors asked me to stop using the products because the patients were getting better too quick. Well, now I was in a dilemma because now I had to invite them to join me or I had to leave. You can imagine what happened. I left. And I went full-time in December of, actually, it's been 24 years ago. That I started Nikken full-time. And I felt I had an obligation to share this with people. I yet wasn't really sure how the whole business part works. And that's the good thing. You don't have to have all the experience right up front. Because when you see what the products will do, and if you already have your own experience, you will know the benefit of the product and what impact it has. That you can't put an impact, on the betterment of somebody's ability to have a good quality of life. So that kind of compelled me to continue to share it with other people. The next thing that I did was that I then started to learn from people that were more successful than I was. Well, not really, because I was stubborn. As you know, I got into Nikken and I told the people who signed me up, please don't call me. So they got a call from me one day. I said, so when are you going to call me? This is like, isn't this what you guys do? You call people, you bug them. So I still had my preconceived notion of what this is all going to be like. And it was similar to the advice that I received when I originally started. So I said, no, I got it. I'm going to do it my way, because I'm in it to help people, not in it to make money. I'm in it to help people. So I help people, but more likely they help themselves of my products, and when they felt better, they gave it back to me. So I said, I think I'm doing something wrong here. So I went back again, and then I started like, okay, obviously my way's not working. I should like talk to somebody who knows what they're doing. And then I got this one question, and it was really interesting, because my upline Diamond at the time said, well, are you really willing to do what is necessary? I said, oh, absolutely. I think I tried everything out, and it didn't quite work. And he says, okay, I can share everything with you, but it's really important that you do exactly what I tell you. And I said, okay, I'm willing to do that. And he says, good, because I understand that you like changing things. And I said, well, wouldn't you agree that it would be good if you reach a specific income level that you're targeting, that at that point, if you think something needs to be changed, you should do it. And until then, just follow what other people have done that already have reached what income level you're trying to reach. I said, well, that sounds really reasonable. And so I said, okay, I think I'll do what you recommend me to do. And I did. I literally, it's like, okay, then we went through, well, how do you approach people? What is it that how do you need to talk to people? What is it your intention? What goals do you have? How do you deal with that? So you can see it was a process. And that's coming back to what I said, you don't really need to know all this, because it's kind of a learning by doing. And that's the fun part, because you have this vast community of people of all different diversities and background with all different kinds of level of knowledge that will help you. The only thing is, you got to get involved. You got to get involved with communicating. You have to get involved with doing specific things, and then you'll figure it out yourself. So that is kind of where how things worked out for me, and they worked out pretty good, I would say. So
well, yeah, you've got a career now that spans 25 years. I'd say that's something pretty good. Any regrets?
Oh no, and it continues, and that's the beauty.
Okay, well, take 1 second here, because
you guys in Paris, that was fun.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Okay, so you just kind of recapped what you've done, what you did, that you took some time to figure out what to do, which is to get help from somebody who was successful. So just take a minute here and answer this one question for me, if you will. Because there's a lot of people right now looking at this and are about to embark on their Nikken journey or their Nikken career. And we've all, what do they say about hindsight? It's 2020.
Yep.
So if you had the first 90 days of your Nikken career to live over again, to do over again, what would you do differently, or what would you do the same? Take a minute.
Well, first of all, I want to congratulate everybody that is actually on today's call and that has the courage to look how to improve their future. Now, to look back, the first 90 days, I would go as far as the first 180 days. I would just wipe them away, because that's when I did it my way. And it really didn't work. Then I would look at the moment that I decided that I actually was going to do this as a business. From that moment on, I would say I would do not much different, because I would, number one, I would work with a mentor. I would attach myself to somebody who is far more successful than I am, and I would do exactly what that person recommends me to do. And I would do and practices as until I get the results, because that's the major thing that I've learned. When I apply that, if I apply those things, then they will come to the result that I am aspiring to.
Fantastic. All right. Well, thanks for sharing your morning, your time with us, your afternoon with us here on this wonderful end of the year event. So thanks, Igor, in Sarasota, Florida. We're going to now swing on the other side of the American coast over to Irvine, California, where we have Ben Woodward standing by to share his story. He's been with Nikken in a different capacity, a few different ways. So he's got an 8-year, almost 9-year career with Nikken, but it started off, first of all, in the corporate world of Nikken. From that side of the equation, later transitioned. He'll tell you his story, but his background is incredibly wealthy in the area of this industry of network marketing, direct sales. He was a managing director of a very, very large company in Europe. He was also associated with the Direct Selling Association. So he has had experience from this industry's point of view in so many different ways, and landed here in Nikken to build a Nikken business, which I think is a testament to the opportunity and the value of what it is that Nikken offers the world, specifically in the industry of network marketing. So Ben Woodward, why don't you share your story with us, please?
Yeah, sure. Welcome, everyone. Pleasure to be with you all. My story, I first got introduced to network marketing when I was 18 years old. My oldest sister is what I would refer to as a network marketing junkie, meaning she often jumps from one to the other, to the other, to the other, looking for a silver bullet, perhaps. That's not the way to build a future with network marketing, that's for sure. But I went to my first business opportunity meeting at the age of 18. Perhaps as an early indicator to me that entrepreneurship and aspirations and ambition were certainly going to be a big part of my future. I grew up in New Zealand. When I moved to the United Kingdom at the age of 22, I joined a network marketing company as a distributor and was absolutely fascinated by the opportunity and the potential that gave. And interestingly, moved from there into the corporate world of network marketing. My career began as a graphic designer and moved into the role of marketing management and kind of creative director for network marketing companies. I moved from there into general management, and from there into regional director roles. And I've had the privilege of working with a couple of multi-billion-dollar network marketing companies. During that time, I was fortunate, as Mike referenced, to sit on a couple of councils for the Direct Selling Association. One, I was on the board of directors for the United Kingdom for their trade association for our industry. And the other one was on the CEO Council for the European Trade Association. Both of these roles gave me fantastic insight as to what really brings value and what really works and what really doesn't. When you're working very intimately with other colleagues from different industries, from different companies, in a very trusting environment and capacity like that, you certainly get to see what's really going on behind the facade or behind the marketing pitch of any business. You get to see it very, very differently. I've also had the experience of being at the front of a company that was being investigated by the government and being taken to court by the government. That was an interesting experience because what it showed me was what is good and what is not good, what is acceptable, what is not acceptable, what we should fight for and what we should defend, and what we should change and what we should evolve with. There was a lot of insight there that was very, very valuable. From there, I came out of that experience, I think, having some very strong views and opinions of what I felt that the future looked like for our industry. And I'm pleased to say, as a consequence of that, having a very passionate conviction, when you've gone through any storm, you certainly come out stronger, a little more weathered, but certainly a lot wiser, I think. And having gone through a storm like that, it certainly helped me look for certain things that I felt were very, very important. And that's what brought me to Nikken. When I moved into Nikken, the thing that really attracted me to here, to this environment, was its philosophy that was centered on humans being more, helping people get a balance across what we call the 5 pillars of health: a healthy mind, healthy body, healthy family, healthy society, and healthy finances. And at the heart of that, because every commission earned is the consequence of a product sold, at the heart of that was a legacy of an incredible product line that gave validation and authenticity to every aspect of that business, because the products were things that people really wanted and really valued. You know, air, water, sleep, nutrition, we can't go without any of those vital elements. And Nikken has it all. We make it even better. So for me, that's what really moved me into it. When I moved away from the office into the field, the thing that really pulled me in was we've really got everything that we need. Excuse me. We've got great products, and the company pays the commissions every month, bang on time, month after month after month, year after year after year. The rest of it is up to us. And with that, I jumped in with full enthusiasm and have certainly never looked back.
Fantastic. Okay, so because your start was a little bit different than most of us coming in from the corporate field, from the corporation into the field, but you've had now the opportunity to be in the field for quite some time, and you've seen best practices.
Yeah.
So my question to you, Ben, would be, if you were giving birth, and you do regularly give birth to somebody in the business, what's your advice to them in terms of what they should be focusing on in those first 90 days?
Well, I always want them to get to executive as quickly as possible. That's the first stepping stone in the compensation plan. Ideally, if you're sponsoring right, you can do that within the first few days, because that should be part of the message going in. People should have a clear goal and a clear expectation if they're business builders and they're serious about having this as a business, to get to executive right away. The next thing in the first 90 days is get to silver, which is the first leadership position. And around that, one thing that I would really strive to do differently is recruit a lot more people. And understand, when I talk about that, what I mean is, again, every commission earned is the result of a product sold. So what I'm talking about in the context of recruiting a lot more people is getting business partners, teammates. You're building a sales force. Yeah, that's what you're doing. So I would build my sales force as big as I could in those first 90 days and see that as a critical priority in my activities.
Fantastic. Okay, awesome. Thank you, Ben, for taking the time this morning for you, I guess, in California, and sharing your insights and your wisdom. Our next guest speaker is our, I guess, most tenured consultant in Nikken. Dave Johnson comes to us from Idaho, and he's been with Nikken coming up in July now, 30 years. He's also Nikken's #1 income earner worldwide. So we're very happy to have you, Dave Johnson, share with us your story.
Well, thank you very much. Just going back on what has already been said, I just can't help but reflect on what Igor said when he discovered the business and discovered kind of the business model of the healthcare system. And I just thought, I'd like to just challenge all of us. Remember Goldman Sachs, type that in to Google about them questioning if curing somebody would be a sustainable business model, because recently there was a drug developed that would actually cure somebody rather than just symptomatic relief, because the ideal business model is get somebody on something and then get them on it forever. And oh my goodness. Well, our goal is to make everybody as bad a customer as we can for the healthcare system, or better described as the sick care industry. But about me, I had no thoughts about health or business or anything like that. I thought I wanted to be an electrical engineer, and to kind of do a fast track into that, the GI Bill, Navy experience, they had good schooling and everything, and I went into the Navy. And within just a couple of years, the Navy completely cured me of any love I had for electronics. And it changed my life, because a Navy friend in April of 1976, they invited me over to their home, and I saw an opportunity meeting. They gave me a couple of books, and I remember just reading this book called The Magic of Thinking Big, and I was reading it. I could actually feel my brain being rewired. Doors were opening in there that I had never thought of. All of a sudden, I started thinking about business. And one of the books I got was How to Be Rich by J. Paul Getty. I still remember this quote. Perhaps some of you have heard it. It's so powerful. He said, I'd rather have a 1% return on 100 people than a 100% return on myself. And then just getting more into this idea of, profits are better than wages, own something and then duplicate, find a way to have a system rather than just go to work, get paid, go to work, get paid, go to work, get paid. Actually go to work, go to work, go to work, go to work, but then you could get paid, get paid, get paid, get paid. And so along my journey, I tried several different companies, and I discovered this powerful thought right here, that the opportunity of a lifetime is only as good as the lifetime of the opportunity. and just the reality is most businesses don't last. And so after licking my wounds several times, being with a company for 8 years, when it failed, just took the heart out of me. I really had a good thing going. It was fun. We had great products. The next moment I'm working for someone else, doing a job I hated. And all of a sudden, at this moment in my life, I'm thinking, oh, I don't want to get up in the morning. I'll have to go to work doing something I don't want to do, renting my life to someone else. And then I turned 40 and I thought, oh my goodness, I don't even know what I want to be when I grow up. Stop the clock. Oh goodness. And I was just so concerned. And so I just started praying and searching and hoping. And my short list was I wanted to wake up and be excited about going to work. I didn't want to think, oh, it's Monday and feel that chain pulling me into the job. And I wanted to be excited about my work. I definitely needed to make more money because along the way we'd accumulated 9 kids, and it costs a lot of money just to be poor, to have 9 kids. And then I wanted to not just make more money, but I wanted to make a difference. And I wasn't doing any of those things. And so that was my search. And then having a conversation with a friend of a friend, he started telling me about these new technologies that were coming from Japan. And the more he talked, I just inside myself, I just knew that I knew. It was the most wonderful feeling. I was still down in a hole, a job I hated, upside down financially, but I just felt somebody had given me a rope. I knew. I remember just kind of looking around. I'm living in a dump. I'm upside down financially, but I'm excited because somebody gave me a roadmap. And the best thing I could do was be in touch with my new friend because he was super successful. I could tell. And I'd met somebody actually years earlier with this product, and I already knew it worked. And just kind of putting 2 to 2 together, everything I just knew that I knew. And so I just ran as fast as I could. My job, it was, long story short, kind of a pipeline of effort. So I figured if I could make $1,500 a month within 3 months with Nikken, I could pull it off. And so I did this really smart thing. I went in and gave notice. Not only that, I actually went back and said, would it be okay if I just quit right now? And he says, oh yeah, okay, can you wait till Friday? And so I did. And so I came home and announced the excitement to my wife. Hey, I just quit my job. And she, oh. And but I was just so pumped. And yes, I made it big. I can't remember how many hours I worked, but it was all the time. 11 o'clock at night, I'd be thinking, who can I call? And we got our first check. It was about $1,100. Woo, $1,100 for all of that month. But the thing that was really cool is I wasn't just going to work and getting paid. I had an asset. I was building a business, and that's the way businesses work. Is you work really hard and you don't think about what am I going to make the next day? What's my paycheck? It's like being a farmer, and you don't plant all your stuff and then the next morning, well, where's the harvest? You work and you work and you work. And that's the thing that I'm really excited about is I was just talking to a dear friend, Ken Hankins, a longtime friend, because he came to my very first meeting. And part of that $1,100 was his efforts. He signed up and bought a product. And so a fraction of that was him. But you know what's really cool is he's more excited than ever. And so what's really powerful about a business that stays around, is I still get paid every month on that first month of effort. That's a powerful thought right there. But we just got back, Mike, you and I, band, we were at an event. Several people said it was the best event ever because we have a new president and a new leader, new vision, a new company, and in all practical intents and purposes. And he talked about he is a world-class leader, and we were just kind of visiting, and he said that he's had several offers, but nothing to what this does in terms of an emotional salary. And that's what gets me out of bed in the morning, is this psychological income that you can make, a spiritual paycheck, because what we do is work that matters. Every time we share this with somebody, we have an opportunity to transform a life, to make a whole difference, because we were there. Something wonderful happened to another human being that wouldn't have happened but for us making that phone call. and going over and demonstrating these products. And I just get so excited about that. And so, think about this, all upside, no downside. I just got this book out again. I'm rereading it for, if you have an accountant, which I highly recommend you do, and you're thinking, how can I pay less tax? Because what you want to do is have more. Well, a way to do that is have a business of your own, but also increase your legal deductions. And if you have a smart accountant, one of the big things they'll say is start a home business. And I recommend you do that. And I recommend start a Nikken home business and have some strategies. But another thing about this book is it says it really is a bad thing to lose money. You want to really be careful. Don't lose money. Well, this is the ideal thing. Playing the market, get index funds. Don't take chances. With Nikken, we're like that. No downside. When you go out and do the business, you're not going to get damaged financially because all it is a phone call. The very worst thing that'll happen is somebody will say, no, thank you. The very best thing that'll happen is you'll make a new friend who will be a customer or a business partner. And so day to day, no downside, all upside. Wow. The ideal asymmetric risk reward proposition. And rather than just investing in the market, hoping this other business does something, you can be actively in there improving the business yourself by talking to people. This is the best way to live your life. One other thing. In this book here, one of the favorite quotes is Warren Buffett. He says there's 3 keys for his wealth. One, he was born in the United States of America, a land of great opportunity. And you don't want to bet against the country because long-term, things are always going up. Another thing, as he said, good genes. By that, he lived a long time. And then he said the third thing was compound interest. Figure out a way to employ compound interest. Well, the best way is build a business where you can, as J. Paul Getty said, I'd rather have a 1% return on 100 people. Nikken, I believe they even allow you to have more than 100 people in your organization. So I'd rather have a 1% return on 1,000 people than a return on 100 people or 10. And so let's go for it. We're putting together a team. We're going to change the world, and we're going to get a lot of people to be really bad customers for the $3.5 trillion healthcare industry.
Totally, I'm totally on board with that, Dave. So let me just wrap up right now with one question. Again, just a short answer, if you will. If you had your first 90 days to do over again, and you had a good start, so you may just say, I'll do exactly the same thing. So what would you advise somebody getting started today? What would you do different, or what would you do the same? Maybe single out 1 or 2 ideas.
Well, I'll just say it again, what I did. The smartest thing I did is my sponsor didn't know a real lot, but his sponsor was really good. So I plugged in with that. There's no chain of command. Find somebody that you match with, that your heart is the same as theirs, same values, but they're super successful. And that's one of the best things that you can do in a shortcut for success is the apprenticeship idea. Apprentice yourself to somebody that's already really good. Call them every day, bug them. I essentially thought in my mind, I didn't share this with him, but my goal was he would never have time to ever sponsor anybody again because he'd be too busy working for me with my group. So that's what I would do.
Fantastic. Well, listen, I can't beat that. That's really, really good advice, regardless of what business you may be in. So I want to thank Igor, Ben, Dave for joining us today. And I want to just wrap up with, again, for the audience, just paying attention to this, looking for an opportunity. By the way, one of the things that Dave, you mentioned is inspiring is, and why we are so inspired still, so, 28 years for me into this, and I can have a day that will just bring my energy to a level like I was a kid again. Every time we have an interaction with somebody and you see a result with this product, you see somebody light up because they have a renewed hope, that is an amazing feeling. And that just doesn't get old. And so in Nikken, you could have a rebirth every day if you just get out there and share this with people. And that keeps the blood flowing. It keeps us on the leading edge. And so I love the fact that our business is relevant and will continue to be relevant irrespective of the time ahead of us, because that philosophy of balance in those 5 pillars about humans being more is a timeless notion. And our products of air, water, sleep, nutrition, these are products that are going to be relevant regardless. You're going to need those things no matter what age you are or what day and age we're in. So again, a business of relevance, a business where every day is a great day. How can you beat that? And the fact that you can have a 20, 30, 40-year career in something looking forward, that means there's not only an assurance for yourself as a future, but there's also an assurance for the people that you may want to give this business to, your children, your grandchildren, and whatnot. And a business that employs compounding, as in compounding interest, well, now you have the best financial engine you could possibly have. So all of the good stuff and none of the bad. Love it. So I want to thank you guys again for joining us. All of you who are listening to this live, those of you who are listening to this in the playback, and given it is approaching a week from the holidays, I want to wish you all an incredible holiday season. I joined Nikken in December. It's a great month to be in Nikken. Have a great day, everyone. Thanks for joining. Thanks, fellas.